Guys, welcome back. Well, we got a new project here. This is a 2006 Honda CRF250. This is obviously a dirt bike. It is a 4-stroke, and when I picked it up, the guy said it was running lean, and it started. I kind of went through it shortly, briefly while I was there. Everything else seems pretty decent, so I took it home. He put gas in it last fall and then never changed it, and the gas isn't the best. But so I cleaned the carburetor, changed up the gas, and it still wasn't wanting to start very well. So long story short, I decided to check the valve clearance on them, and there's 2 intake valves and 2 exhaust valves. The 2 exhaust valves are good at 11 thousandths, and then the left-hand side intake valve is clearance is good at 5 thousandths, and then the right-hand side was at I couldn't fit a 4 thousandths feeler gauge in there. I could fit a 3 thousandths, but it was pretty loose, so I'm estimating it's probably around 3.5 thousandths. So one thing I did notice though when I went to go check the timing is that you have to pull this plug right here. There is a line or an arrow on the housing, and then there's a gear on the crank that has a punch mark. Well, when you line those up, that's top dead center on the compression stroke. And so what you need to do, that puts both valves up to where you'll be able to check the clearance. So after you do that though, you need to come to this side, pull this plug, and check the clearance. I'm sorry. You check the flywheel marks in here. There's 2 of them, and there's a line on the housing on the inside, and the mark on the right of the flywheel has to line up with that mark, and that's a second verification. Well, the third verification that you're at top dead center is the cam is linked to the crank by a chain that comes up through here and around the cam gear, because the cam has to be timed to the crank and the piston to open the valves at the right time. So the cam gear has 2 lines that are supposed to be lined up with the top of the head right here. Well, they weren't lined up. One was below and the other one was above. So I lined that up and put it all back together, and it fired up 4 times in a row with no problem, just a couple kicks. And then I had to, once I got it to idle, I let it idle, warmed it up, and I was able to, I wanted to drain the oil and give it an oil change. And obviously you can see it's got an oil leak. The oil had coolant in it. So I knew right there, okay, well, let's check the reservoir. Check the reservoir, there wasn't any coolant. So it's got a head leak. So I got a full gasket kit here. It's Pro X. Pro X has been pretty good with other stuff, so they were the only one that had a full gasket kit. So I have that, and that's what I'm getting ready to install, but I have to pull this engine first. So the first thing that I did was pull the seat off. It's just 2 12mm bolts. You pull that off, and then the next thing is to disconnect the carburetor boot that goes to the gearbox. It's just a little Phillips screw. And then there's a 12mm bolts down here on either side for the subframe. And then there's one up here, and then you can pull the whole assembly off, and that's what's over there. It's pretty cool. This is like my first time digging into dirt bikes. Yeah, I'm kind of too close. Oh, grief. So that's the whole subframe. The seat goes over that part. There's the tank and front plastics. So that's where I'm at currently. I figured I would just give you an update on that. And I'll go ahead and set the camera up here, and you guys can watch me get this thing pulled out. right, folks. There she is. She's out. I'll show you where the big leak was. Right there somewhere. Alright, so surprised I don't see a crack in the case at this point. That would be my luck. Look at this. This is when I changed the oil. It's got like a green tinge to it, so. The coolant was blue though. And there was not much in there. I don't know exactly where it's leaking from. But I'll figure it out. I mean, it's gotta be the I mean, if it's not this, I mean, if it's not down here, then I would assume right there. But either way, all right. So these bolts are supposed to be 9 foot-pounds. 5, 10, 9. I would assume it's 9 foot-pounds. Oh yeah, there are definitely some nasty seals. Now that one is loose. Well, this one was tight. This one was a little loose. This one almost seems over tightened. Like it's more than 9 foot-pounds. Alright. Should probably open this over a pan of some sort. Let's get the head off first. Yeah, let's get that like greenish color to it. Just to show you guys, there are 2 locking pins here, or rings. They are C-clip C rings, and they lock the cam bearing into place. So you want to make sure that you don't lose those. Now, as far as getting this cam off, what you want to do is you want to get yourself a top dead center layer. $240. So I wonder if these have ever been changed. $185. This one doesn't have a number on it, so I'm assuming that it's never been changed. And it is the one that's out by 1.5 thousandths. Yeah, that doesn't show. Oh, wait a minute. It does show. What was the other one? 185? Yeah, that looks like a 185. You can barely see it. I'll leave that there. Put this back on. And we'll worry about that later. And this is the spot where, you see how it's lighter in this section here, where the gasket came off on the head. So this is the fancy little flywheel puller here. How are you supposed to lock that? Alright, so I just ended up sticking a 1/2-inch ratchet down in between the crankcase here and the large end of the connecting rod, and I was able to break the nut loose from the flywheel using a breaker bar and a 17mm socket. The puller get it. All right. Oh yeah. A lot different than a snowmobile. Okay, so I got this side cleaned up pretty good, and now I'm just going through some of these oil seals. Alright, I'm going to skip the forward a little bit. Just getting ready to put the piston on here. Or I'm sorry, the cylinder head. Cylinder. Grief. Got the piston in the cylinder. Oh. Cam chain tensioner bolt, camshaft holder mounting bolt, 12 foot-pounds. Alright guys, that is it for now. So the next step will be to button her up and put her back in the bike.